Pasuk says, "Vayev Yitzchak as Esav ki tzayid b'fiv." He was a tzayid. He was a hunter in his mouth. The simple explanation is that he hunted in order to feed his father, so Yitzchak loved him for that. Or another explanation is he fooled his father. He hunted means that he did all sorts of tricks to trick his father into thinking that he was such a big tzaddik. It says, Chasei Chazal, Esav asked questions. What kind of questions did he ask? How do we take straw if we want to take meiser from straw? We know that every time you have produce from your field, you have to take meiser from your fruits, from your vegetables, from your produce, from your wheat. So what if I have straw? How do I take meiser from straw? What if I have salt? How do I take meiser from salt? And Yitzchak said, wow, what a big tzaddik. He wants to do even more than he's obligated to do. Such a big tzaddik, and with that he fooled Yitzchak. Why did Esav pick specifically these two examples? And why do Chazal feel it important to point out that Esav asked these two questions? He didn't ask any questions on how to keep Shabbos, how to shecht animals. He specifically picked these two examples. Why? What lies in these two examples that's so important for us to understand what's happening here with Yaakov and Esav? We all know that towards the end of the parsha, when we have the brachas, Yitzchak wanted to give the blessings to Esav. Rivka understood that this was not to be, this was not proper, and Yaakov had to get the brachas, and they devised a plan successfully. Yaakov stole the brachas from Esav. He tricked his father into giving him the brachas. What was going on? Many of the commentaries of the Mefarshim of the Torah, they explain that everybody understood, and Yitzchak understood very well, that Esav was not the tzaddik that Yaakov was. But the one who's not the tzaddik, who's more inclined to indulge themselves in the material parts of this world, in the physical parts of this world, but he can play an important role in sustaining the work of Yaakov. Yaakov is the Holy One. He's the one who's involving himself in the study of Torah and performing the mitzvahs, but we need support for that. Who's going to support Yaakov? Oh, Esav. He'll do business, he'll make money, and he'll support Yaakov, and everything will be beautiful. And that's why Yitzchak wanted to give Esav the blessings, which are all material blessings, physical blessings, in order that he should have the means in order to sustain and support his brother Yaakov. Rivka understood that Esav was too far gone. He could not be part of this system. This system had to be remained within Klal Yisrael. That's how it is up until today. From the time when Yisachar and Zevulun were blessed, Samach Zevulun b'tzeisecha v'Yisachar b'yalecha, the blessing that Zevulun will be successful and will support his brother Yisachar in his spiritual endeavors. That's how it is until today. There are always those who are studying Torah, those who are performing the mitzvahs, and everybody has to perform the mitzvahs, everybody has to study the Torah, but those who give up their lives, who devote their lives to the study of Torah, devote their lives to the teaching of Torah, to the education of Torah, and then there are those who support them within the Jewish nation, not without, and it cannot be any more Esav and Yaakov. Says the Shem Shmuel very beautifully. You know when a system like this can work is when everybody recognizes their role and their part in this system. When I realize that I have to support Torah, but Torah is the ideal, and those who learn Torah, and those who are sitting in the yeshivas, they are the princes. They are the most important people in the world. And it is my honor, and I am honored to be able to support them and play a role in this system. Then that helps the people, obviously, who are studying the Torah, and it helps the person himself who's supporting those who learn the Torah. But the minute a person who's supporting the Torah thinks that he's the most important, then the whole system falls apart. Esav was not prepared to be able to humble himself in front of Yaakov and support him in his spiritual endeavors. He said, no, if I get the material success, then I'm the most important. The rich, the one who has the fancy Mercedes, he's the one who decides everything because he's the most important person in the world. Then the system cannot work anymore. The system can only work if Esav recognizes his place. How do we see that Esav didn't recognize his place? He took straw. Straw is nothing. The most important thing is what grows on top of the straw. It's the wheat that we take, the small kernels that we crush, we make flour, we make bread out of it. How can the straw think that he's more important than the wheat? But that's exactly what Esav did. He came to his father and said, I want to take meiser, I want to take the tent, I want to give away the meiser from the straw. You don't have to take meiser from the straw. What's salt? Salt is in order to make food more tasteful. Salt doesn't have its own value, intrinsic value. It's only there to help the food. The straw is only there in as much as that it serves the wheat and the rest of the plant. That's the most important. But he said, no, I'm the most important. The straw, the salt, that's very important. I have to take meiser. This was one of the symbols, and this is why Chazal found it so important to point out. These two questions that Esav asked was symbolic of his worldview, of his trying to be, of his thinking process, of thinking that he's the most important. The straw is important, the salt is important, I have to take my share. This is how he came to his father, and to show that he's the most important. This is where Rivka realized, this is how the Torah proves, history and the Torah proves that Rivka was right. Esau was no longer worthy of taking part in the system at all. He had to be excluded from the system. All the brachas had to go only to Yaakov, should remain always within Klal Yisrael. We should always zeichet to the brachas of Yaakov, to be able to support one another, and to be able to understand our place in society, our place in the system, in order to be able to come to completion, and to be able to help those who are studying the Torah, and to be able to understand our own place in the system properly. Then we can all be zeichet to the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the brachas that Hashem promised Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the brachas that Yitzchak promised Yaakov. Good Shabbos. Please don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.